Now we're going to continue with our lesson on adjustment layers, and what I'm going to do is go to the history states, and you see that I've gone back in my history states to almost the very beginning where I established my color sampling tool right here. Let's look at this and look at this and take a look at this, and what I want to do is kind of start all over again because I want to show you a different way to use adjustment layers for different portions of the image without having to use masks. So the first thing we're going to do is bring this image back into balance, and we make this adjustment right here, and again we have our color sampler area right here, and we have some numbers to look at to help guide us as to the adjustments. We'll tweak there, just a tiny tweak here, and you'll notice that the red and the greens are very similar. We have a little bit more blue in here than the numbers would actually dictate that we need, especially considering that this is a neutral gray background or a sample of a neutral gray source, and these numbers theoretically should all line up, but such is not the case in every single image. So we use these as a guideline, and I'm looking at this and liking kind of the way this looks. Now, in order to facilitate the adjustments on a black and white image, one thing I am going to do is I'm going to come and pick another layer. And let's see, where can I find hue and saturation? Right there. I'm going to boost this up quite a bit, more than you would normally do for a color print, and just leave that right there. And when we go to our layers palette, we can see a hue and saturation adjustment layer and a color balance adjustment layer. And so next what we're going to do, go back here, let's do black and white. Now I want to adjust just for the background, and when I come to hue and saturation, I can pick up my blues, change the hue, and then come pick up the black and white slider and boost this area here. Give it a little bit of a high key effect. You're not going to see much change in these green sliders, but the orange and the red are going to react rather well. So I want this to be a little bit high key. So what I've done is establish a little bit of contrast between the background and the foreground without having to use masks. So if we disable this, we see the saturation, we see the color adjustments. We disable this hue and saturation, and we see the background lighten and the foreground darken, which is the exact opposite of what we wanted to achieve. And of course we can go back later and put a vignette on here to accentuate that effect, but these are the adjustments purely based on color. And then color balance is still here, and we can still use color balance to reduce our background even more. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Now come back up to black and white. Let's make this adjustment right here. And this is all subjective. I'm just making adjustments to see how I like, various things. And I like that. Let's go back and tweak this color a little bit. There, I'm liking that too. That's looking real good. So notice how I go from one adjustment layer to the next without having to dip into my history states and adjust different areas of the image. And I like the way this has turned out. So what we can do is we can go to here, flatten the image, and now we have a finished black and white image based on color adjustments that were done completely with adjustment layers. Now again, this is one of those deals where you come in and you practice and you try different images and try different things, and after a while your usage of adjustment layers become very proficient, and I think you'll be very, very happy with the results and the incredible flexibility in making your adjustments on any image that you want to work on.